One of the stats that I saw in relation to this is that a Canadian is nearly 3 times more likely to die by MAID, medically assistance in dying, whatever the horrible acronym is, than an American is to die by a gunshot. So all of these liberal memes about how Americans are always getting killed by guns, a Canadian is 3 times more likely to be essentially murdered by the healthcare industry, quote unquote, in Canada. An absolutely ridiculous statistics. And we reported recently the good news that in the UK, the similar bill seems to be dead. Essentially, they've managed to, even the supporters are throwing in the towel on that one, that they're not going to pass the assisted suicide bill in the UK. But over in Canada, things are bad. And as you say, this is getting more popular. It's increasing. People are seeking this out more and more. And the healthcare industry over there is more than happy to enable it. And it's really tragic.
And that's the thing, Jake. I'm not sure that popular is the word. So, like, I realize that's what, is being used and it's been thrown around. But what if that's not the case? What if the regular populace aren't saying, hey, this is a choice that I just may want to make this, this time, but rather that it's being pushed upon them more and more by a healthcare system, because that's what it seems like is the case. I also came across this a few months ago, but the Canadian system is also benefiting from these deaths because those people, I don't know how to say this in a charitable way, those people have organs, and organ donation is a massive industry. And so what we are seeing is that there's a promotion of these deaths, especially in those cases, to take their organs. One of the things been pushed at the same time. It's like, hey, here's medical assistance in dying. Also, how about becoming an organ donor? And there's something really disturbing about this because, like, here in the United States at least, we have different laws in place such that, for example, an individual, he can't go and sell his organs. Like, let's just say you're poor and you're down on your luck and you're in a really bad situation. You're like, hey, I want to sell a kidney. I can live with just one. I want to sell this other. We say here in the United States that that's a breach of medical ethics, that we're unwilling to engage in that kind of profiteering. I think that's a good thing. But what you're looking at over in, apparently now Canada, but historically also places like China, was this sort of profiteering on the basis of organs. We do know that even if you don't, as an individual, get to sell your organs, still behind the scenes in the medical industry, you still have massive costs, massive profits as well, involved in taking organs and also, providing them. So the person who's receiving the organ obviously will pay out massive amounts of money, maybe through insurance, but still there's a massive amount of money being moved here. And so it's not the case that simply because the giver of an organ isn't making money, that there isn't money being made behind the scenes. The opposite is certainly true. It's very contrary. So there are these incentives of the Canadian government. There's also the fact that because they have in many areas, I think it's fair to call it a nationalized healthcare system, certainly more nationalized. You also have incentives for lower care in that regard as well, because you have a system through which you don't want people to get old and have all of the different chronic care issues that come with aging. And so all of this is just sort of ignored and said, well, okay, yeah, you have this condition, but you're also, 65, so it's not really going to get better from here. And these are the sort of, the evil sentences that are being issued to somebody who's in a state of distress. It's not going to get better from here. Like, you don't say that to somebody who's suicidal. No, they're saying that in Canada to try to, to try and push people towards suicide. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. The expenses are going to go up. You're really just a burden on the people around you. There are so many levels of evil to this that I struggle to grapple with the degree of the moral depravity.
Yeah, and there's not even a sense that this is some higher good you're taking on because it's going to be better for you on the other side. You're often dealing with people who do not believe in a real afterlife because that's the state of the secular world we live in. You're not even dealing with this sort of this higher goal here. It tends to be, it's better for all of us if you just kill yourself. That's essentially the message being put forth. So, okay, well, it's better for everyone else, and it'll end your suffering, because suffering is the worst thing in the world, and pain is the worst thing in the world. And it's so antithetical to a Catholic worldview, to a Catholic understanding of sacrifice, that, yes, sometimes you are called to sacrifice your life for others, but oftentimes it's not a matter of death. It's a matter of offering up your pain, offering up your suffering, offering up your service for someone else. And your life goes on very long. How many times have we discussed saints who, in an advanced age, were suffering horrible penalties, horrible pains, horrible tortures in an attempt to get them to apostatize, and they maintained their faith at advanced ages? We just had a couple saints who were a great example of this recently. And this worldview is entirely different. It's, okay, well, this will end your current pain quicker, and you'll be less of a burden to all of us. And it's such an antithetical worldview to Catholicism. So pray for an end to this in Canada. I don't know how it's going to end. I don't know how it's going to be overturned, but it needs to be.